everybody. This is Bruce and the dog on the floor, and today we are going to end the game. We haven't scored it yet, but we're going to go ahead and skip ahead to the game over and finish the work that we started last time. So here's what we have. So we have this game, and there's something in the socket. So recall that we start the game with a socket with a new game, and the new game basically drops game.new in the socket. So the game is really the state of the live view, and you can see that we have this game over flag that's in there. And one of the things that we can do is in the view we can check this game over state. So that would be a relatively easy implementation to add. So the other thing that we could do is when the game ends, we could just do a redirect. And that's the approach that I think that we're going to take here. So the first part of this implementation is that we're going to need a new view. So I'm going to call this file game over.html.lex. So now we have one of these, and that's basically going to look a lot like the playing one. We haven't really given a lot of shape to any of these, but I think that this shape will work just fine. So let's say we don't need to grab keystrokes anymore. We could say your score game.score. So that looks pretty good like that. And now, so we're eventually going to add a play again button in there or something, but that's going to get us started. So we also need a live view. So that's going to be game over. That's a new file. Game over.ex. And that's going to look, the top of it at least, is going to look a whole lot like this one. Game over. Right. And we're going to need and this is the params, the session, and the socket. So, and we might just return in the socket. We probably don't need anything else in there. And then we need a render. Oh, actually we don't need a render. Why? Because we are doing the work in here, right? And so maybe we ought to check to see if there's a score and add that. That sure would make it easy to debug, wouldn't it? So maybe we'll do something like this. Okay, socket, assign socket score. Right, so we're going to default that to 0. That looks good. So basically, this is Elixir's way of checking this value. If it's not there, it's going to return a nil. This is a truthy comparison, so that would compare to false, and then it would pick up that 0 value right there. So for the router, let's go ahead and handle the over. Game live.game over. Like that. And so let's see. So we're going to make Phoenix.server. Notice that we're on checkpoint 14 now. Okay, cannot define game live.playing because it's currently being defined. So I basically copied this over, and this should be game over, like that. So we're still not up. Unused alias game in the game over. Yeah, we didn't need that at all, right? Okay. So basically there's the game, and we could say over. Okay, so we said, it said the score is not found in the socket. So assign socket and the score. Oh, yeah, so this isn't going to work. This would be map.get socket assigns score like that, or 0. So basically it's going to look for that key. Otherwise, game not available. Assigned game is not available in the EEX template. So where do I have game in there? Let's see. Game.score. I see. So basically, this is game or like that. Map.get, oh, game. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we have a game over with your score of 0, and now the only thing that we've got to do is check the game over that is in the game state, and if it's there, we need to do a redirect, and we'll walk through how to do that next. Okay, so we have our view. Let's talk about what we're going to do to actually render it. So here is our router, and we're basically going to want to go from this view to this view. But if you look at the contents of each one, they're pretty dramatically different. The game has the whole Tetris board, and the game overview just has a couple of headings. And so what we're going to want to do in this instance is called a push redirect. And what that means is that it's going to send the whole contents of the page over the wire. And if we called a push patch, it would just send the minimal differences. So what we're going to actually do in this case is actually call a game over, right? So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to check here. We want to do a maybe end game. We want to do this based on whether the game over is set in the game. So what we're going to do is build a reducer. So maybe end game. And this is going to essentially do something that looks like that. We're going to take assigns in the game. We're really looking at the game over in there. And if that's true, we want to do our socket. We want to pipe that to push redirect. And where are we going to go? Well, we're going to go to game over like that. Okay. And so in otherwise, the maybe end game is just going to eat that message, right? So it's going to take a socket and return that socket without any kind of transformation at all. So all we're doing is saying, hey, LiveView, we want you to redirect and change the URL, but send the new image on down. So let's see if we've got something that works now. So we're going to take this, we're going to start at game, and this is going to scroll on down. Let's speed up time again. Life is short, so maybe order of magnitude. Zoom, zoom, zoom. So this is going to get a game over. That's going to flip to true, and yes, we are redirected as we expect it to. So what's interesting now is if I hit the back button, now LiveView is protecting me in terms of the back button. So this is looking great. And the next step that I have is all I really need to do is present some type of a welcome page. And on the welcome page, I can implement just a quick button push that redirects me over to a page that actually starts the game itself. So that's going to go pretty quickly. So why don't we go ahead and start that work? So the first thing that we're going to do is change our router, right? And maybe this should take me to, maybe this should be playing, right? And maybe we should have an additional one that goes to game live.welcome. That's welcome. Great, and that's probably going to yell at me over on the different page. So we're going to actually implement that by building the new live view. So there's the live view for game over. This is about what we want, so let's grab that. So this is a new file. And so this is, what do we want? Game live, we want welcome, DEX. There we go. And that's going to take welcome. And it's also going to need its view. That's LEEX. That's great. Perfect. I already created that, so there it is. And so welcome to Tetris Live. That sounds good. Stack up. Okay, and then we can create a button. Like that. And now we ought to be able to, and this is going to say play, and this is going to say Phoenix click play, and I don't need anything else, do I? And so basically in my welcome, I'm going to need a handle event. Handle event, and that's going to say play. Is that the one that I wanted? Yeah, so it's play. We wanted that lowercase. Okay. So that's a handle event, and I don't care about the metadata, and that's going to take its socket. And so this is going to take a and then play the socket, and then play socket. We're going to have another live redirect here, aren't we? Right? So this isn't going to be a live patch, because a live patch would keep the page intact. And pretty much this is just a different view. And so we're going to want a live redirect socket, and this is going to go to, and this is going to say game playing. Is that right? So let's check the router. Play. Yeah, that's what I want. And so the other thing that I have to do is I have to tweak my game over. Right now we take the we want to tweak the playing, because our live redirect went somewhere different, right? So maybe in game, so that pushed to game over. Okay, so we haven't redirected back to game playing, but let's see if we can make this much work so far. So this is gonna start us here. Stack them up, play. Okay, so we're crashing. That's good news. That means that something is happening here. Okay, so I didn't return something that looked like this. I got a no reply nil. So let's see what happened here. So in welcome, so we did a live redirect of socket to, and then the game playing. So let's see if we got the shape of that API right. So in the game playing, and maybe end game, we want to push redirect. Yeah. So let's see if we can tweak that a bit. So welcome. This should be a push redirect. Okay. Okay, boom, 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 boom. And so that's happy. Actually, it's the opposite of happy, isn't it? Okay, so now in the welcome, we had this button, so we could steal that button. And I'm going to give you a homework assignment. If you want to, try to figure out how to turn that that welcome button into a component. Not a very difficult job. Play again, and that's going to take our play, and then we probably want to grab the same little chunk there, right? So this is going to do the play function is actually, this is coming over intact, isn't it? So I'm going to take the game over, and that's a live view that looks like this. And so all I'm doing is saying, if I get the play event, ignore the metadata, just call this play reducer over socket, and then this does a push redirect to the new path. And all the push redirect is going to do is send down the whole new page, where a push patch would say, hey, I know that all I want to do is send down only the diffs of the page, because I know that they're going to be substantially similar, and then this will be processed in another view. Okay, so this is a welcome to Tetris, so that's working fine. Great. Play the game. Boom. Yeah, I don't have a prayer here, do I? Huh. Mini success. Okay, and this is going to stack up to a game over, and we're in good shape. So really what needs to be done is I need to basically stack up an individual row when I get one of those. And we'll do that when we come back. So all that's really left is we have to clean up the score a little bit, so that when we match a row all the way across, we basically take that row away and we increment the score. And we're going to do that in the next 1 or 2 sessions. So this is Bruce and the dog on the floor for Groxio Learning. I hope you're having as much fun as I am.